What we do here is go back.
Okay, good evening. Oh, thank you, Google. I'm Mike, this is Mike's Unboxing Reviews Now too, and today in the live stream we're going to be doing a rebuild of a PC from one case to another. Now, I've taken my Fractal Design, the Define C, and I'm swapping it out for my £30 case, which I bought recently, which you can check out from a link up there somewhere maybe later. Or from Kath's phone. So just so you can see the case, let's have a quick look. So that is the case. So it's a Stormforce case, dual tempered glass, all that kind of stuff. And we've got some spare cables to make it all look nice, because the power supply we're using is going to be a horrible ketchup and mustard one. So we may need to cover that up. I may well change the power supply at another point, but we'll see what happens. So I'm keeping an eye on the chat from my Surface here, which for some reason keeps on bringing the Windows bar up. I think there's something wrong with it. Never mind. Anyway, so moving on. Is this working? Yeah, it is. Blimey. Technology, eh? So my Fractal Design case, which is, actually, I will show you. Keep on reaching around for the keyboard that isn't there. So number 2, there we go. So if you look over there, is my case, my kit, and there is my Fractal Design Define C. And if you just look inside, you can't see anything. Can you see? There we go. So inside has got my EVGA 1070, all that kind of stuff. Now the reason I'm doing this is because the temperatures in the case, I'm not sure if that's going to focus on there very well, but we're getting like 31 degrees idle, getting about 46 degrees when it's just kind of a few apps open. And I did a run of the render of the video you can see on there, and it went up to about 57 degrees, which isn't too bad, but it's a little bit toasty. So what I thought I'd do is see what it would be like to transfer everything that is in that case. Oh, wrong button. I'll get the hang of this one day. So what I thought I'd do is transfer everything from that case. Now that case is probably around about the 70 to 80 pound mark if you were to go and buy one. So I thought, as standard, to see what that case is like against a £30 case. Now this case is not just a normal £30 case. It comes preloaded with 5 RGB fans, some RGB on the front, and basically a load of room inside. So in this video, I'm going to take apart my old PC, which is going to be pretty boring, but you can join me for the ride, and then I'm going to put it all inside there. So I'm not going to be changing out the CPU cooler or anything like that, the memory. That's all going to stay as it is from the PC. It's literally a straight swap, everything in that PC into that one, and then see what the temperatures are like hopefully at the end. Now, depending on how the stream goes, we may not get to do the temperatures at the end if something goes wrong. If that is the case, I'll put it in the show notes below later on, let you know what the temperatures were like, or I'll update the video a little bit later on once I've got everything sorted. Right, so saying that, I'm going to shut down the PC now and get it onto the desk and start taking it apart. Make use of yourselves in this time by clicking on the subscribe button, chime icon, and all that stuff that you normally do. So actually, let's make some room while I'm doing this. And for some reason, it's done that again. Oh, Surface Pro. So there we are, there is the Fractal Design Define C. As you can see, it's got my Arctic Cooling Freezer 33 Duo, Freezer 33 Esports Duo, or whatever you want to call it. Got my EVGA graphics card in there. That's about it really, nothing too exciting. I did add some extra fans at the front, so we got some LED fans. So there was 2 fans at the front, 1 fan on the rear. Other than that, it's pretty much bone stock. So let's start taking this apart. So let's put that somewhere safe-ish. Right, so what should we take it first? Let's take the graphics card out. That's probably the most sensible. Now, working on this angle is probably not going to be the most easiest of things to do, but I don't normally do things the easy way. So there's the graphics card, EVGA GTX 1070. Lovely card actually. And I'll put the screws back in where I got them from, so we don't end up having a mismatch of screws all over the place. So let's go ahead and disconnect all the fan headers and that kind of stuff. We'll keep the adapter. That's the adapter to change the wiring for the front panel to the ASUS standard. Makes things a little bit easier to do. So let's put that somewhere safe and go around and disconnect the rest of the stuff. So there's the power supply disconnected. The hard drives are actually going to be a little bit more tricky because of where the grommet is on there. Take out the top power. And what have we got back here? All right, I was hoping I wasn't going to have to take the back panel off, but looks like I'm going to have to. Sad times. Angel's watching. Hello, Angel. It's Angel's 18th birthday this week. Well, on Sunday, depending how you look at your week. 18 years young, which don't have to make me feel old. So doing this case swap as a live stream is probably either very brave or very stupid. I haven't quite worked out which one of those it is at the moment. Potentially the latter. Okay, so I think that is pretty much all of our case I/O disconnected. So let's start taking out the screws. And this board is quite a big board, so it's probably going to be all 9 screws. 1, 2, Sorry, I love to count. So no screw in the middle one. Now really when you're doing this, it's probably a good idea to lay the PC down flat so that when you take the last screw out, the whole thing doesn't come crashing out on the floor. But if I put it flat, then you won't be able to see what's going on. Let's so I'll just work with it. Paul Donaldson's in the house. Good evening, Paul. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're taking it easy and relaxing this time of night, unlike me, who thinks it, well, nearly 9 o'clock. What time is it anyway? Yeah, nearly 9 o'clock on a, what day is it?
Tuesday.
On 9 o'clock on a Tuesday, and I'm starting to take a PC apart. What is the world coming to? Have I completely lost my mind? Did I have a mind to begin with? Potentially not. Right, so that's pretty much all the screws out, I believe. So let's gently ease that out. Ooh, there's always one left, isn't there? So there we go. Hopefully you can get a good idea, a good shot of that now. And actually I was a bit concerned that these Arctic cooling fans have started going a little bit on the yellow side. They're not as bright a white as they used to be. Maybe it's environmental conditions, maybe it's just the way that the kind of the rubber in those ages, because it is a flexible rubber, and you know what rubber's like, and silicone, especially in the UK where we don't get a lot of sunlight or UV, stuff does tend to go slightly yellow. And you probably notice actually, these fans are actually held on with cable ties rather than the usual spring clips that are on the side. Now there is a good reason for that, because the spring clips kind of are using a tension system, and there's normally on these fans like a little foam pad which holds the fans in place. But unfortunately, when you're taking these things in and out, like most things, the pads just tend to go walkabout, and they're not a very good adhesive on there. This was the one thing actually about these Arctic cooling fans which I dislike. So I created a modified bracket using cable ties. So I've got a cable tie that goes all the way through from the front to the back, and then using other cable ties but clipping off the ends. I've then used one cable tie as a spacer, then another spacer, then another cable tie on the end to pull it all taut. Now these now are completely fixed, and also with the foam bits in there, because the foam bits weren't quite thick enough, the rear fan for some reason, because of the positioning, would make a whistling noise when the fan was at a really high RPM, and it really done my head in. So I thought, no, I can't do it, I'm not having it. So I done a slightly ghetto modification, which has worked out actually very well. Now hopefully in the next day or so, or a couple of days, I'll be getting the new Arctic Freezer 34 Esports Duo, which is the upgraded version of this. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing what that works out like. Anyway, so that's the motherboard out. Let's just put that somewhere slightly out of the way. Quite a lot of dust in here already as well. So,
Excited.
Sorry?
Peanut is excited.
Peanut's excited to watch the build? Awesome. And Tony's in the house. Good evening, Tony. Welcome to the Tuesday night stream, which was completely unscheduled and unplanned, and I'm just kind of winging it. So if this all goes completely tits up, I do apologise, but hey, there you go. That's what Mike's unboxing is all about at times. Just winging it. Take the IO shield out. The amount of times that you see motherboards for sale on eBay and stuff like that where the IO shield is missing, it's ridiculous, because it actually doesn't make a great deal of difference, but you can actually pick up a bargain if you buy a motherboard without the IO shield, because for some reason it just drops the price massively, and they're actually quite expensive to replace. Anyway, right, let's take the power supply out next.
We did try and get Harvey to print one.
Yeah, we did get Harvey to print a IO shield, and it did actually, he did print it out, and it did work out really well, the actual printing itself. But unfortunately, because of the way the IO is laid out on this particular board, to chop out the bits of the print which were not necessary actually made it really weak. So it was kind of almost easier not to have it in there. But anyway, what the heck. Now, unfortunately for this build, I am going to have to be reusing my power supply, which is the Cooler Master G750M. It has got the ketchup and mustard. I have got extension cables from Shack Mods, I think they were. Is it Shack Mods? I can't remember. I bought them secondhand with the power supply, so I've used them in different bits and pieces. I may use it, I may not. The trouble is with that new case that I'm going to be doing this in, it's got tempered glass on both sides, so there's nowhere to hide any kind of cock-ups or ugly wiring. So when we put the power supply in, I'll have a look at it. if there's somewhere that I can feasibly hide these wires, I will do. Alternately, the next chance I get, I will take the power supply back out again, replace it with the Rio Toro 600 watt, which I've got in Kath's machine. I'll upgrade her to a 750 watt, and I'll take the 600 because it's got the black cables and make it look nice. And maybe I'll do an update video on that. Maybe I won't. I don't know. Depends how this one works out. What's the matter? Oh, Brian's in. Brytech09 is in the house. Yes, I am playing PC Tech. Good evening, for the lols. You've come to the right place if you want some lols, because this is probably going to go majorly wrong. Oh, you want to know what case it is? Okay, the case is, if you check out, well, depending on what device you're on, you can probably, yeah, you can only see that one. The case I'm using is the £30 Stormforce case, which I'm still actually not 100% who the OEM is for the case itself. I'm pretty sure it's an in-win case. Again, I don't know for sure. It looks like an in-win case. I did a review and an unboxing on it about a week ago, was it, Kath? So there is a video I've done, so if you want to see what the case is like, open up another tab and you can stick it in there. It's actually probably more interesting than watching me taking this crap apart, to be honest with you. But anyway. So I figured tonight it'd be, I'm going a little bit Kerry Holzman on you. So I'm doing a live build, but I might just chat all the way through it and not actually build anything in the Kerry Holzman style. But all the time, while I'm doing it, while you're chatting and while I'm chatting, you can feel free to send in your donations so I can build myself a new PC out of your donations. Sarcasm is a wonderful thing, isn't it? All right, let's get this hard drive out because I'm definitely going to need this. Now, actually, this is probably quite a daft thing to do because at the moment, I'm trying to do 30 videos in 30 days. It's apparently, allegedly, it goes some way towards resetting the YouTube algorithm for your channel. So if your channel is not getting much exposure, you do 30 videos in 30 days, YouTube looks at it and says, oh, you're a content creator, yay, put you to the top, or nearer to the top. So hopefully, after 30 days of videos, this all might be worthwhile. And I can slowly have a nervous breakdown and reduce my video out to probably 5 a week. I think that's probably more sustainable. 1 a day is actually pretty tough going for any of you that have got a YouTube channel. Brytech, obviously, Tony. I'm not sure about the other guys, but Brytech for one. Brytech's actually a bit of a mentor to me at the moment, so he's teaching me all the tips and tricks of a YouTube entrepreneur. Now, Brytech does a video pretty much every single day, so if you guys are watching, haven't subscribed already, go to Brytech's channel, just right click on his name in the chat and go to channel, and it'll open up a new tab, and then you can click on the subscribe, chime button, all that stuff, and you can see where I get all the videos ideas I get. Just joking. Some of the videos are my own.
80s horrors in the house.
80s horror fans in the house. Good evening, 80s horror fan.
Going to America in 11 hours.
Going to America? Americal. And I bet you're going over there to buy DVDs, videos, and other geeky type stuff. At a guess. Am I right? Right, so there's a hard drive. That's our Toshiba 2TB. Now, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the reason not the reason I'm doing this. I'm doing this, but it's a bit stupid because this PC is actually my main video editing rig and the one I use to kind of come down in the morning and answer all the YouTube questions and stuff like that. So if this all goes wrong, I'm screwed, basically. Yeah, royally screwed. Although I could sabotage the PC and then that means I can have some days off of making videos. But we don't want to do that.
Remix Island Music.
Hello, Remix Island Music. What is the best cheap video card for 1080p maxed 60 FPS? Now that would depend if you're a AMD man or whether you are a Nvidia man. So if you're an AMD man, I was got to say RX 480 or RX 580 if your budget is stretched to it. You haven't really mentioned a budget, have you? Did he mention a budget? Just said budget. No, did he?
No.
No, I'm reading that from
Best
someone
cheap.
else.
Best cheap.
Best cheap. Yeah, actually saying that, still, I'd say the RX 580, I've got one in the streaming PC behind me, and that plays pretty much everything I want, 1080p, not always maxed out, but pretty close to it, and depending on the game, not always 60 frames per second, but really 60 frames per second locked for any graphics card at high resolution is actually a pretty tough call these days. I don't know if any of you guys are reading the comments or watching this this stream, if you've got any comments you could chime in with. I'll say if you're not an AMD fan, then probably I would say the 1070 is a great card, but it's in the next kind of price bracket. But if you can get a used one, like I did, that one, or this one, sorry, the EVGA 1070, despite my channel's figures and growth, unfortunately EVGA don't send me these things. I have to buy these things. So this I picked up on Facebook Marketplace, which is a favourite haunt of mine. I picked that up for £200, which for £200 is kind of in the same ballpark price as RX 580, 590, but the 1070 is in a kind of a tier above. So if you're Nvidia, then definitely worth a look. Saying that, if you can't get hold of one, you want to go for something a little bit cheaper, around about the 200 mark, I would say the 1060 6 gig is definitely worth a shout. So do you think I'm slightly insane swapping all my stuff from a well-known established case like the Fractal Define C and putting it all into this cheap-ass £30 case? Is it a bit bonkers? I'm still unsure.
You need a different chair, I think.
I need a different chair. You see it squeaking it? Actually, it's not the chair, it's just my spinal column slowly compressing. So if anybody wants to buy a cheap Fractal Define C, let me know. Actually, why is that not going in there? Ah, there we go. So I'll put this back on so I don't actually lose it. That would suck.
Remix Iron Music. Okay, I was thinking I'd use 480 or 570 8 gig. I have a Ryzen CPU, so I'm not opposed to RX. My 1050 doesn't like some newer online titles, it stutters a lot.
Yeah, the 1050 actually, from that question from, was it Remix Island Music? About the 1050. The GTX 1050 and the TI is actually not too bad, and the 1050 is okay, but where they are kind of aimed in the market for the money they are, you don't get much out of them. Like for £150 in the UK for a new 1050 Ti, you'd be much, much better served by getting a second-hand RX 480 or 580, which would be in a next tier above. Right, let's try and put this somewhere where I'm not going to smash it. Too late. Right, so that is everything out of the PC that we need. So we've got our graphics card, we've got our hard drive, our NVMe storage is on the motherboard just there, so we don't have to worry about that. CPU and stuff, nothing's changing there, so we'll leave that as it is. CPU on this for if anyone's interested, which will be handy for after the video. Oh yeah, I've got the other camera. CAF's good. Look at that. That's technology right there. So we've got the NVMe drive just in there, which is a really neat way of doing it. It saves a lot of aggro. What do you reckon? The nice thing about this case, it's got a built-in RGB, so I don't have to worry about using RGB RAM, so I can quite happily use my Corsair LPX RAM and not worry about it. And hopefully the white accents that are on this board, on the south bridge there, and also on the fan, hopefully they're going to pick up on the reflections of the RGB, so they kind of all will color code themselves. That's the theory. Right, let's have a look at this case. Right, now this case is a bit of a monster, so you may not actually be able to see me once I've got it over here. which is probably another reason why I should be doing this in a larger area, but I haven't got a large area, so there we go. So there is the case. I don't know if you can see that now. It's pretty nice. I like it. It's got quite a dark smoke to the side panels, quite dark tint. It's tempered glass both sides, like I said, plenty of room in there. It's a little bit taller, and on the top you've got fan controls, so you can turn the fans off, which is perfect actually. So when the PC over there is finished doing this video editing, it's just uploading something to YouTube. If I want to carry on making a video, I can switch the fans to the off position so there's no distracting buzzing noises in the background, but there'd be squeaky noises of this damn chair in the background. It's also got a card reader and stuff on top, which I will show you. So there we go. There is the top. So you've got two speed controllers. So you've got low, off, and high speed. The power button, which is there. Two USB 2, two USB 3, headphone, microphone, and a little RGB button there. So you press the button, you can cycle through the colours and choose different schemes, all that kind of stuff. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And you've got RGB that runs down the side, which hopefully we'll see if I ever get this thing built. Anyway, right, let's take these side panels off to start with, because it is, yeah, it's actually quite a slim chassis. I think that's one of the benefits these days actually of not having to have a CD drive in these things, because the extra width of the 5 1/4 inch drive, and then obviously the surrounds as well, does allow manufacturers to make cases a little slimmer looking. I wonder if they could do that to me, to make me a little bit slimmer looking. That'd be awesome. Brightech 09 says not bad for 30 sheets. Well, thank you, Brian. I do appreciate that. Now, actually, if you're into cases, Brian's got a video coming up very shortly of a case from, I was trying to think the manufacturer now. Who did he say it was? It was Sahara. So Brian's going to be doing a review and possibly a build of the Sahara case. There you go. See, I've done a tiny little bit of cable management already. Put a couple of cable ties there and there just to keep the wires in place. But it's a pretty nice chassis. You've got space for 3 1/4 drives there. Oh, sorry, 3 1/2 inch drives there. You've got space for SSDs. You've got your fan controller hub, etc., etc. Plenty of cutouts for the CPU area and also for taking cables through. And you've got some nice rubber grommets. The rubber grommets are a little bit on the kind of stiff side, so I really would have preferred actually when I started this to put some super glue, a little dab of super glue on them, just to keep them in place for when you're feeding the wires through. But hey, it's not the end of the world. It's still a pretty nice looking case. So that is that side off. Let's take the other side off. Sorry, headphone users. Oh, that didn't sound good. It's alright, it's toughened glass. Well, actually, no, technically it's not toughened, is it? It's tempered. But it's the same thing. J Nobody, what kind of case is that? Well, that is the good question. It's actually come from a UK company called eBuyer in the UK, ebuyer.com. You can check them out. No, actually, I'm lying now. No, it didn't come from eBuyer. This one actually came off eBay through ZooStorm. ZooStorm are a company in the UK who make PCs, like custom PCs, but they also buy in a lot of OEM cases from Cooler Master, InWin, people like that, and then they just rebadge them. So it's definitely not a Cooler Master chassis, that's for sure. And from the inside and from the kind of the layout, and especially the I/O, what do they call it? Blanking plates, and also this kind of mesh. I'm not sure if you can see it on. Yeah, you can see it on the camera, but that mesh there is exactly the same as my InWin 101C, which is in the background.
Is it circles or hexagons?
So in the hexagon kind of cutout thing is very, very much a InWin kind of design feature. I'm gonna have to stop bending down and give myself a bloody aneurysm. Right, so then. Oh, I bet Kath says I've got to read the comments. Hang on. Como host estas? Okay. Oh, that's Jay Nobali. Hola. River Island Music. I have NZXT S340 MSI B3 blah blah blah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. The NZXT S340 I really like. It's a nice case. George has got one upstairs and I built his PC in it. The only thing I don't like is the side panel being acrylic. That's a real put off these days for me, but hey, it's a nice looking case though. For the lols, has bass boosted headphones on max, so that hurt. I'm sorry, I'm really sorry.
And Jay Nobody is Jaheem.
Who?
Go above that one.
Oh, I can't scroll on there because it'll go. Calf, make me a chicken sandwich, please, from Brightech. It's not a bad idea.
Jay Nobody is Jaheem.
Ah, Jay Nobody is Jaheem. Okay, I get it. This chair is really starting to.
Matthew J.
If anybody if anybody's watching this and you're a company and you sell chairs, ideally a gaming chair, feel free to send me one for review so I can get rid of this chair.
What did you swap it for this one?
I might have to swap it because it is pretty bad. Remix Island Music. You should name your kid Winston. Okay. On eBay, the Lux model is down to $39.99. Lux model of? Oh, I'll have to look into that. Right, so, there's our baggy bag of baggy bits. So I suppose I better put some extra mounting pillars in. So this case at the moment has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pillars. So I'm going to need another 3 pillars because it's quite a wide board. So let's see what we got in here. Unfortunately, they're not all labelled up. Now there is a rare addition these days, a BIOS speaker. I can't remember the last time I saw one of those. Wow, that takes me back a bit. And what the heck are those? Okay, so... Actually, I haven't got a clue what they are. Right, if any of you know what those 4 rubber things are, let me know. I have not got a clue. There's a little key in the top, and I don't know, maybe there's some... Oh, they might be anti-rattle shims for the solid state drive, possibly. We'll have a look. We'll have a look in a bit. So we've got a whole host of weird screws here. We've got some... Oh, there's another little plastic grommet thing there. I don't know what the heck that's for. Well, they certainly have thought of everything. There's all sorts of everything in there. And a nice thing about this case as well is it's actually got 2 lots of rubber grommets. So if you've got a slightly wider motherboard, you don't have to worry too much about the cable management. Which I think that was a problem on one of the other cases I used recently. That was the Cooler Master, the Masterbox 3.1 Lite, which we try not to talk about. Right, I am going to need my super screwdriver for this, which is in the case. Oh my god. There we go. These are amazing. This is from Draper, and it is, I think it's a, I can't even see actually what size it is. 5mm. 5mm? 6mm. 5mm. It's a 5mm box wrench on the end. So for doing up these, it's perfect. I bet I've put them in too wide now. Ah, right, that's deluxe, is it?
That's the same make as that.
Ah, right, okay. So is Lux the OEM then? Or is that just...
It's Loop Stormforce Lux.
Because that looks a lot like an in-win case as well. In some way. Oh, that's what I should have checked. See what type of thread these pillars use. Right, it's the fine thread, I think. So let's try another one of those. That's a thicker thread, see if that actually will go in. No. Nothing worse than trying to put a motherboard into a case and then realising that you're using the wrong thread screws and then you've got to try and force the suckers back out. But it's one of those things that probably most of us have done at some point or other. Right, let's wire up the I/O. Again, nice thing in this case, all the I/O is quite nicely sorted. Actually, I'll leave that out for now because I'm not sure where it's going to go for the motherboard. Right, I/O shield. Let's get that in.
The letter's down.
Good evening, Aletta. Hopefully it's a little bit warmer for you now, wherever you are. I think you're in, was it Ohio? Aletta? Kath, can you remember? I think it was Ohio, wasn't it? Well, wherever it is and wherever you are, hopefully, yeah, things are better. Because I know the Americans have been getting some pretty hardcore weather right now, which is not good.
Did it include a screwdriver key for the standoffs?
No, it didn't include a screwdriver key. I was just looking for that actually. Cooler Master quite often put one in, some of the others do as well, but no, that's why I had to use my 5mm box spanner screwdriver thing. Right, let's see if that's going to line up nicely. Yeah, it's not bad. Not bad at all. Like I said before, when you're doing this, it's probably a best practice to do this with the chassis led down. But, well, I can, so I'm not. As long as you get one screw in, we should be good. It's not going to go anywhere. And if it does, well, what the heck, that's what home insurance is for. Hello, home insurance company. I've just damaged my PC. Yes, can you give us details of the PC? Well, yeah, it was a Threadripper and it had 124 gigs of RAM and it had 2 Titan Next graphics cards. Honest. So, how many minutes have we been streaming for so far? He says, looking. 39 minutes, and I've actually got the motherboard in the chassis.
For the lols, I want you to move your stream controller nearer.
Move my stream controller nearer. What, that one?
I assume.
I wish I could, I got nowhere else to put it. Yeah, I was about that, half an hour in. Got the old PC stripped down and got this one in the chassis. Teach our friend Kerry Holzman a trick or two, eh? Hopefully, if I keep on dropping his name enough, he will actually find me. And then we can have some serious lols. Okie dokie.
Tony's back.
Tony's back. Where did he go? Did he go for a poo? Sorry, American viewers, I know we don't talk about toilet things in America because it's kind of not the thing, but in the UK, we do. In fact, it's positively encouraged. Now, I can't see if that motherboard's in well at the back, so yeah, that's not bad. Got a little bit of a misfit there. Actually, let's have a closer look. So yeah, that's good, that's good. Nothing's blocking that. That's centralized, awesome. Now that is also another good sign of a decent case when stuff actually does line up when you put it inside. All too often, that can be a problem when you're using these cheaper cases or budget cases. Let's pull that wiring out because that looks pretty darn ugly.
So we have a steamer.
A steamer? Okay.
The letters into to be a steamer.
Why doesn't that surprise me? The Aletta is into toilet humour. Right, now this is the weird one. Now this USB 3 header has got an additional USB 2 header. So I'm assuming that's purely just in case you don't have a USB 3 header and doesn't need to be plugged in. So I'm not going to plug it in. Because there's another USB there. Actually, saying that, no, that is a pass-through, isn't it? Because there's also, is there a card reader? No, there isn't, is there? So, yeah. No, that's just a secondary. Better safe than sorry.
Read Russ's message.
Sorry?
Read Russ's message.
I'll have our job. Russ, I've read your message, but unfortunately, because it contains profanity, I'm not allowed to put it on. Okay, let's see if that'll go through there. It's always a little bit intimidating when you get a new case that you've never worked in before to work out where everything's likely to go.
Violetta says you need a turntable for building PCs in, so you don't have to lift it.
I do have a turntable. It's in the other room.
And it takes ages to spin.
Yeah, and it's an electric one, so it spins around like the Wheel of Fortune type thing, so it's really super slow. So you'd be like, although I could unplug it, I suppose. That's right. Right, so what we got? Another USB, which is routed to the wrong place already. I've got a sneaking suspicion I'm not going to be able to get the side panel on with this, so I may have to mess around with the cable management a little bit later on.
Matthew Day says, I guess it's an option to liven up the port with USB 2 if you don't have USB 3.
Yeah, I think that's probably is the right.
Repeat question.
I can't. No. Who was it who said it?
Matthew Day.
Matthew Day said that the connection is probably to liven up the ports if you don't have USB 3, which I think is probably right. It used to be you used to have to buy an additional cable for that kind of thing, so that's kind of nice to see that included. I'm not too sure on this little bit down here. That is a little bit of a fudge, which I'm not overly happy with, but still. I've just realised that I don't have a Molex connector on that power supply, which I will need for the RGB. So I might have to go and get my other case or my other box, see where I put those cables. I think it's in one of the boxes under the table. Never mind. Right, okay, so that is the I/O connected up, apart from the real kind of I/O-y bit, which we can stick through there.
Matthew Day asked, is it a bulged panel?
Is it a bulged panel? No, it's just the way my trousers hang. Sorry, couldn't resist. No, it's not. The side panel is completely flat. So, power switch. Oh, that's great. They haven't got... Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, so the power switch button and the connections. Well, the power switch isn't so important, but oh, actually, yeah, they have. Don't worry, panic over. It's all good. I thought it didn't have the correct keys on it, so you know which one's positive and negative.
But he should have his glasses on.
I should really have my glasses on, to be fair. So what we got here? I can't see a thing.
Do you want your glasses?
Right, that's power LED. So that one there, and that one over by there. Yeah, these are a little bit on the cheap side. These connections, they feel a little bit wishy-washy, really. But I guess as long as they work, that's all that matters, which we've yet to see. So what have we got here? So we've got power switch. Where the heck? Power. Grind and reset. And where is grind and power?
Matthew Day had to use a back port to a header adapter on his.
Oh, these are really, really stiff to use. If this actually works, I'll be amazed. Because it just feels very, very wrong. Okay. Well, it's in there. That'll do. Let's give you another camera angle so you can see what's going on there. So, you can see there, motherboard's in, that's relatively tidy at the top. And actually at the top we've got another 2 RGB fans, as you can see. That back fan is RGB as well, and it's actually got clear blades. So that should light up pretty nicely. And going down, you can see that little I/O area. See if I can get a bit closer. So yeah, it's not great, the fact that there's a little bit of the old kind of ketchup and mustard going on there. But I suppose we can always sort out at a later date. Yeah, not too bad. Pretty cool. Look at those cable ties. Don't they just look the bomb?
For the lols is going.
Sorry?
For the lols is going.
For the lols is going. Bye for the lols. Thanks for dropping by. Right, power supply next, I think. Where the hell did I put the power supply? Oh, there. This chair is annoying. So what do we reckon? Fan down or fan up? Oh, this thing's filthy. Wow, that's a monster heatsink. Right, I'm going to put it fan down, only for the fact that I think that's probably for the best. I don't know. We will see. So, unfortunately, this week, as much as I'd have liked to have been able to, I haven't been able to do an unboxing on a new Radeon 7, which is a damn shame. But I didn't win the lottery, so ain't gonna happen. Actually, you don't realise until you try and do this at a different angle from what you're used to, actually how difficult and inconvenient it actually is. Especially when you're putting the screws in the wrong hole. I quite like the whole black and white scenario going on. Pretty neat. There we go, I'm just about to see that one now.
Drink.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. Right, let's ooh. Again, sorry headphone users, I do apologise. Let's have a quick slurp of my tea. Good old cup of British Rosie Lee. Happy days. Right, I think pretty much all this we can just take straight out. Should I take them right out the back area there? Decisions. Okay, so I've got an option to take it straight out the back here. And there is an area at the back where I could probably store some of these cables, so I might actually do that. Let's try it that way to start with. I suppose that's the beauty of these things. When you're building a PC and you're putting anything together, you can always just put stuff wherever you want. And there isn't really a right, and in most cases there isn't really a wrong. Obviously, there are people that will get very animated when you do stuff because you don't do it the way they think it should be done or whatever. But at the end of the day, as long as it works and you're happy with it, and it's not actually negatively affecting performance in any way, then you can do things pretty much how you want. And feeding these through here is not an easy task, believe you me. It is actually quite close to encroaching on the fan controller at the back there. So maybe that could be a possible issue. I suppose really it would have been easier to use the grommets. But unfortunately, because we've got this kind of era now of tempered glass and everything being on show, you have kind of got to make things look nice. Even if they're not intended to look nice. Actually, we have actually got a lot of room at the back of this case for feeding the wires around, so it's not all bad. Now unfortunately, the ATX connector is kind of slap bang in the middle of two potential cutouts. I don't think I can use the top one because it's going to be a little bit of a stretch for the cable. But like I said, I might end up using a cable extension because that just looks horrible, doesn't it? But then I probably will end up, like I said before, taking this power supply out in a couple of days' time and putting in one of the Rio Tori ones with those nice licorice cable type connections. So let's run that down there. Yeah, that's not bad. Not bad. I don't like the custard and matchup. The custard in matchup, the mustard and ketchup. Wow, I can't believe I got it that wrong. That was pretty awesome. Oh. It's been one of those days today, it really has. I spent a bit too long talking on Discord last night, and then I kind of overslept something rotten today, so I feel like I got jet lag. Which in itself is pretty awesome because I've never actually had jet lag, so I'm assuming this is what it must feel like. So we've got our 8-pin connector going through the top. And let's see. Now actually this is a little bit nicer to work with because there's a bit of extra room at the top over and above what I had with the Fractal Design Define C. There, did it. Got a little bit more room to work at the top, which also is great because if I plan to put a 240mm all-in-one cooler in the top, there is actually quite a lot of room. I could probably get even like one of the thicker rads, like maybe a 35mm or even possibly a 44mm or whatever size they are. There is surprisingly quite a lot of room. I don't like this USB 3 connector. That is definitely something I'm not totally keen on. I suppose I could actually reroute that through this output in the bottom, which you probably can't see from there. Actually, let's put it around. Let's put that there. That'll make life easier. So, yeah. So if I put the USB 3 connector, take it back out of there, run it through there, I think that'll make that area a little bit tidier. But I'm not going to do that right now. So I want to get this installed and done. So we need a SATA connection for the hard disk drive. So let's just connect that up. And actually, I'm going to stick that straight through there. I would have done it through that side bit, but I am actually pretty much convinced now that I'm going to end up taking this power supply out and redoing it. So let's spin this around so you can see what is going on the back side. Oh, it's there. I am my own worst enemy, I truly am. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, I think, to get these to be flush in here. And what have we got? So PCIe. Actually, let's do it in a logical order. So that one is, that's our other PCIe. So that is going to come out about there. Would be, wouldn't it? So I want it to be underneath those cables, because otherwise it's going to push it out a little bit further. Again, another problem with having tempered glass on the back side of your chassis is the fact that you can't actually use that little bit of extra force to try and get the thing to stay in there. So this is going to be, yeah, this is going to be horrendous. I'm going to have a serious word with myself about this after. Because really that needs to go in a completely different orientation. Right, so I don't need this one at all. So that is kind of out of the equation. So I could probably do something with it there, try and keep that held in place there. That probably will push down a little further or farther. Actually, no, I'm going to take that out. Me, indecisive? Maybe.
Tony's naked handstands are legendary according to Whitehead.
Tony's doing naked. No, there we go. We've lost our grommet already. Tony's naked handstands.
They're legendary. Well worth the money according to Whitehead.
If you want to see Tony's naked handstands, then if you right click on his user ID in the chat and click on Go to Channel, it will open up in a new window. And you can check out Tony's naked handstands. And also other unboxing videos. Oh, this is hideous. I don't like this back bit at all.
What do you think about 3rd gen Ryzen and expectations by 3rd gen Threadripper?
My expectations of 3rd gen, well actually the whole thing, Intel have basically given up the ghost, I think, as far as mainstream computers and processors have gone. They've certainly dropped a ball. I think it always happens. AMD did it years ago when the Athlon 64 came out and it left the Pentium 4 completely for dust. And I think it's pretty much going to happen all over again. And I would be very surprised if that wasn't the case, to be honest with you. So my expectations for Ryzen 3rd gen, or Ryzen 2.1, or whatever you want to call it, my expectations are pretty high. I think it's going to be really good, and I think it's going to give Intel a massive run for their money, which is long overdue. Right, so hard drive. I think that's probably going to go in.
The letter will pass on the naked handstands.
Oh, a letter, you'd love it. Tony's got a real talent for that kind of thing.
And Britex says just cut them off might be a little more tidy.
Cut them off, yeah. I actually did that a long time ago. I've probably told some of you lot this story already. But a long time ago, I was building a PC for somebody when I was starting out back in the sort of, this is probably about 1997, something like that. And I was building this PC for the guy. Thought I was pretty cool and all that. And I essentially made a right mess of it because I was trying to make the wiring as tidy as possible. And I tried to cut off the end of a floppy drive connector without realising that I was cutting off the wrong end and that the PC was on, which in turn ruined the cable and fried the power supply. So that was one of those less good days where you think to yourself, what have I done? And if I remember rightly, I ended up paying for the power supply, didn't I? Yeah.
I was telling you not to cut it, but you insisted.
Kath was saying, don't cut it, don't cut it. And I'm like, don't be silly, it's fine. I do this all the time. I'm a professional. Not sure what at. Okay, so that is odd. So how can that fit in there? It can't. Okay, this is where the stumbling blocks start kicking in. It's me being a dipstick. Right, so that goes in like that. That goes in like that, and then you've got perfect access. I did wonder. It's a slightly unusual setup for the drive, being that it's kind of showing the back where it does. Oh, you swine. Right, so it doesn't like having that in there. So that's another part of the design of this which actually is probably not the greatest. The fact that you can't access that screw because the SATA connector is there. And if you've got one of those SATA connectors with a spring-loaded tab, you can't actually get to the spring to release it, which is not fun. So that is there. Cable management, our favourite game. When I say favourite, I mean least favourite. Luckily, hasn't got very far to go. Right, so that's our cable connected, so now we can pull the rest of that back through that we don't want on show. Oh, I'm making a right pig's ear of this. This is full awesome. Yeah, that is going to be challenging to get that side on, I think.
Don't worry, he's a professional.
Yahim's a professional. Oh, I am? Yeah, okay. Okay, so that was...
Can't the drive be fitted the other way around in the caddy?
Unfortunately, no, because of where the connectors are, there's only a cutout at that top side. If you turn the drive round, those connectors would be partially hidden by the plastic covering, which is a little bit of a nose. I suppose it's one of those things that I guess they're not really expecting people to be using mechanical drives in this day and age because they're mechanical and people generally don't use them.
Which brings you to the letters comment. Wow, a mechanical hard drive. I haven't seen one of those in a while.
A letters being smart. Screw you. I wish I could have solid state storage for my my video editing drive. I actually do, but I really can't justify getting, because I've got pretty much most of my YouTube videos that I've created. Oh, that is a... This is challenging, this cable management. I'm trying to work out whether it's the fault of the case or whether it's the fault of the builder or whether it's the fault of the power supply. I actually think it's probably more to do with the power supply, because this cable is really, really chunky. But having said that, there's no excuse for not being able to make a good job of it, I suppose. Yeah, this power supply is definitely getting changed out at my earliest convenience. I could use an absolute ton of cable ties to try and make this look decent back here, but I think it is going to be a struggle. In fact, I had the same thing with the in-wing on the back because there wasn't a great deal of space to do stuff with. Oh, and I still need a Molex for it. Right, so where have I gone to now? So I say so a lot, don't I? I've realised this. Doopy-doopy-doo. Oh, that didn't sound healthy. Yeah, there's just too much wire. Definitely, if you're going to be getting or thinking of getting one of these cases, Go for a modular power supply. Do yourself a favour. Go modular. In fact, actually, for most builds, I would say these days go modular. It does make life so much easier.
The letter says the less cables the better. I'm lazy at cable management. Brian said all the money Mike makes on YouTube and he's using the chemical hard drives. Really like.
Touche, Brian, touche. All the money that Mike makes on YouTube, which is not even close to minimum wage.
Mikey Fat Wallet.
Mikey Fat Wallet? Who called me that? That's got to be Brian.
Yeah.
He's such a dick. Oh dear. But we love him.
There must be all these photos you keep.
It's not... Oh, what, on the hard drives?
No.
Oh, on my fat wallet, yeah. Yeah, that's why my wallet's fat. It's all pictures of money where money used to be. And I've just got pictures of kids. Actually, I haven't. Right, I need calf. You might have to do this for me. Inside that box under there, one of the boxes, is there a Rio Toro box under there?
I think so.
On your side?
Yeah.
Have a look inside. There should be a Cooler Master box in white. Please. Right. Oh dear. I definitely... Ooh. Sorry, headphone users. Right, let's put the graphics card in and we can look at the wiring a bit more to see where we're at. And there goes one of the screws.
What should be in here?
There should be a white box with the power supply, and it should have the inside one of those boxes. Yeah. Sorry again, headphone users.
Inside the Rio Toro box.
Possibly, yes. There should be a white box around somewhere. It used to be the one that was on there until I covered it in beer when I spilled that beer. But it might be inside of a box, inside of a box. Is there a PC in that case?
Yeah.
No, it's not in that one then.
So I keep asking you.
Right, let's put this in.
So it'll be in the one in one box.
Yeah. It'll be in a box. Yeah, what do you reckon? I don't know, not too bad. I quite like that. Still don't like the ketchup and mustard on this power supply, which I probably will keep on saying. Wow. What can you do? It does spoil it actually, the ketchup and mustard, it really does. Because there actually is a really nice look to this case. The whole setup actually. The cable management on the back isn't the greatest.
That one?
Yes, perfect.
Box.
Sure? Oh no. This is where I work out that I haven't got the Molex connectors. Right, in that case then, is there a box in there, an Asus box for the motherboard? The S370? Technical difficulties, people. Oh, actually, I know where it is. It's in my wardrobe, on the top shelf of my wardrobe. Well, not top shelf, you know, where my boxes are. I'm making calf work for a living now, more so. But I can't turn it on without the RGB connector, can I? Really? Right, let's have a quick look at some questions. Oh, what's going on here? Who's taking odds on whether it'll post first time or not? Aletta, that is unkind, but I'm not really a gambling man, but I would say it's definitely 50-50. Oh, Tony, I will be doing a review on this case, but won't be as good as Mike's review. Lol. I'll take that possibly in the way it was intended, maybe, depending on how it was intended. Tony's actually coming on. He's sorting out his little studio thing in his new home, so he's got a million and one things to do, but he's still going to be doing his YouTube videos, so kudos for that. Oh, balls. It's not in that one. So where have I put that then? There is a box with the cables in. Is there another one of these boxes up there? Or in there?
Yeah.
I bet it's in that one. As if by magic. Now, it's not like I've got a fetish for these boards or anything. Or squeaky chairs. This is the one. Oh, hang on, that's Polaris. Oh yeah, I put them in the wrong thing, haven't I? Hey kids, make sure you always put your cables in the right boxes, because otherwise it's a complete kerfuffle to find them. Right, so that is for the streaming PC. Yes. Never thought I'd be so happy to see a Molex connector.
That's good.
Thank you, Kath. Kath, you'll have to let me know. Aletta's taking odds, I think, of whether or not this is going to boot. Which I think is probably fair. Right, I'm going to stick that through there. Oh, I should do it properly, really, shouldn't I? But it's just horrendous. Right, I'm going to take it out through there, which I should have done with the other cables earlier, really, which would have made life a lot easier. But I'm not going to disconnect them all now, because that would be quite soul destroying.
Roletta said who's taking odds on whether it will close first time or not.
Yeah. Is she taking any money yet?
No.
Well, that's a good sign. Brightech, what's it saying? Jay Nobody, what's the UK's minimum wage? UK minimum wage at the moment for adults over 25 is what, £7.80 or something? Yeah, £7.80 ish, thereabouts, give or take. Oh, I remember why I hate Molex connectors so much now, because they're absolutely shite. Right, now I'm going to be completely upfront and honest now. I'm not putting that side panel on the back, because realistically, at the moment, there's no point, because pretty much as soon as this camera's turned off, I'm taking that power supply back out and putting the proper one back in, because this is just not good at all.
I asked what size rads does that case support?
What size rads does this case support? Okay, you can get a 120mm on the rear. You can get a 240 on the front. Potentially, if you don't mind doing a little bit of jiggery pokery with this drive bay, which actually is only riveted in, so you could undo the rivets in there and that would come out really, really easily, I think. There's very little holding that in. In fact, actually, I've got a sneaking suspicion that it's only held in with screws. Let's find that out now. It looks to be like there's only 3 screws holding it in. There may be a whole bunch of screws elsewhere, but from what I can tell, this might be all that's holding it in. Okay, so there's a little bit more going on somewhere. There's another 2 on the back. Which would make putting a 360mm rad in there actually pretty simple. Edward Cuss wants to buy the Fractal case. Where in the UK are you, Edward? Or are you not in the UK?
Matthew Day says careful if you mix modular cables, things can get very bad.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Right, so there's another 2 screws on the front for this drive cage. Wow. So, I never like taking these front panels off. So what else is holding that in? Okay, so actually there's only another 2 screws holding that entire cage in. So that would make putting a, I'm pretty sure you could definitely, well, I'm pretty sure you can definitely get a 360 in there. Definitely, maybe. Yeah, I think that's going to come right out now. Now that is actually a really cool thing. The fact that you can just unscrew this and remove this cage. So if you're not a fan of the 5 1/4 inch bay, you can take it out by the look of it.
For the lols, Mike, I do want you to carry the PC roll and put the thing screen in all the demo laptops for the channel.
For the lols has gone to PC World in the UK somewhere and put all the laptops to Mike's unboxing homepage and put the videos on loop from what Kath just told me. So awesome. I keep on doing that. Our son works at a like a retail park, a Sports Direct. And there's a PC World right next to it. So when we go and pick him up from work, we stop off in PC World and go through on their laptops and PCs and stuff and put Mike's unboxing on, but then mute the tab and then open another Google tab on in front of it so they can't see it and they can't hear it. So just keep on looping for hours. It's great. And it all helps the viewing revenue. Possibly. Ooh.
Measure it, please, Mike.
Oh, I've got to measure it now. So there we go. In the moment now, there is actually, I can see at the top, actually, where's my other doodah? There he is. So from that angle, you can see there's another mounting hole there and another mounting hole there. And these brackets are both removable and they're that kind of mesh, the same as the stuff underneath it. So you could get a 360 in there, I think, easily. And it wouldn't interfere with the wiring on the top. And actually, what do you think? Does that look cleaner without that?
Yeah.
Or does it look like it's empty?
Edwin Cuss lives in South Wales.
Let's put that there. There we go. Look at it. This is like actually one of those informative videos where I'm actually getting stuff done in reviewing the case properly, like it should have been the first time round. I am such a schmuck. Right, who wanted measurements of the case? Brightech wanted measurements of the case. Okay, do you want it in inches or do you want it in metric? Or do you want it in both?
Edward Cuss is in South Wales.
Oh, Edward Cuss is in South Wales. Bless you from South Wales. In South Wales. Actually, you're not far from Tony. Tony's in South Wales, kind of, I think, somewhere, sort of. In that sort of area. And actually my brother lives in Newport, so that's, I guess that's classed as South Wales, possibly. Vale of Glamorgan, is it? Penrith?
Yeah.
Did I get it right? Penrith?
I think so.
Who's in Penrith?
Edward Cuss.
Oh. Edward Cuss isn't in Penrith, so don't ignore that, that's fine. Right, I'm going to put this back on now, because that is done. We are done.
Is it in millimetres?
It wants in millimeters. Okay, so from the rear of the case to the front of the case, we are looking at 510 mil. Oh, actually, that's crossed over a little bit. Let me redo that just to be absolutely 100%. So yeah, there's a little bit of a bevel to the front edge of the case, but it's 510 mil. Now, from side to side, this again, because it's got a bevel, is a bit difficult to do, but that is 195 millimeters, or 19.5 mil. Or if you're looking at imperial, in inches, it is 7 3/4. And the height, again, it's got a beveled edge, so it's not the easiest to measure. But I would say that is, yeah, that's 510 as well. Actually, did I say that was 510? Yeah, 510. So it is actually square. I wouldn't have thought that, would you? Looking at it, it doesn't look square. I don't think, do you?
The hole does, so I suppose.
Because the glass itself that sits on there isn't square, which I guess it wouldn't be because you've got this bit on the front, but it doesn't look like it's even close to square. Anyway, squeaky chair. No, inside front. Oh, what? Inside front as in where the radiator would go?
But look at the Edward Cuss one.
Oh, Penrith, not to be confused with Penrith. Got you. Easily done. Right. What measurement did you want, Brian? Did you want me to take that front panel off again? Or do you just want the inside measurement?
Inside for rads.
Inside for rads. Okay, so the total width on the inside is, wow, this is a bit difficult. So this would be taking it literally edge to edge, would be 100 and, I would say 158 would be your maximum width. And height wise, oh geez, this is really difficult. I'm gonna have to turn this around a bit. I do apologise. Oh man, this is really, really obscure. Right, so that's the highest you can go.
You do Brian's inside leg next.
440 mil would be the longest you could get in there. That's going up pretty much as far as you want to go to the there's like a lip on the inside where the I/O control panel is. So a 360 mil rad in there. I don't think a 360 mil actually would be a problem in there. It is a little bit on the narrow side because where the drives are is kind of, sorry you can't see that, can you? Where these drives are, it comes forward a little bit. Yeah, good idea, Kath. So I'll try and show you with the camera so you can see, hopefully you can see at the top there, so there's that little lip, so you wouldn't be able to get anything past that. And the actual width here, where that back panel is, it does come in a little bit. So although you can get a 5 1/4 inch drive in that bit, because that's pushed out slightly, this bit here is a little narrower. But as long as you've got a width of no more than 158, I think it was. Did I say 158? So yeah, I would say 158, maybe 159 at a push. Radiator wise, shouldn't be too much of a problem. There's a massive delay on this video feed. I'm watching it from Kath's screen over there on the computer, and there is a massive, massive delay. At least, it must be getting on for 30 seconds. Incredible.
Brightex, but that's so cool. It will take the
A 360 mil. Yeah, it's actually, that is really surprising for a case of this kind of, not quality, that's probably the wrong thing, but for this kind of price, for £30, and for the ability to take a 360 mil rad, which is actually quite rare. There's not that many cases which will take a 360 rad straight off without some modification. 240 is easy, 280 is generally quite straightforward, but 360, yeah, different thing altogether. I'm a bit gutted actually, because ages ago on Amazon there was an Antec, I think it's the S360 radiator, and they had it for like £50. I was like, oh, do I need it? Do I really want it? And that would have been perfect in here. Well, I haven't measured it, but it should be. So I'm just reading this now. What am I looking at, Kath? Edward Cuss. Can I buy your Fractal case? My current case has been butchered with an angle grinder so I could fit my GPU in. Zotac GTX 1070 Ti Amp Extreme. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. I haven't really decided. I was going to reshell Kath's computer in it, but you particularly bothered? No, Kath's not really bothered. When we're done with the stream and what have you, join us on Discord, Edward, and yeah, we'll talk. Kath will stick the link in the chat now. Right, so I think I've probably put this off for long enough now. I think everything is done. I haven't got my monitor connected, so do you want to see a monitor connected to see if it actually posts? Do you want me to go to that length, or so I just put a power cord in and see if it turns on? I'll let you guys decide, and girls, and non-denominationals, not non-denominational, you know, gender fluids, all that sort of stuff. I will wait patiently for your answer, because if I need to get a monitor, I've got to go upstairs and get one. Because I don't think I can plug into that one, because that would cause all kinds of grief, I think. It seems to be a bit of a delay.
Tony's going.
Tony's going? Oh, night Tony. See you later, mate. All the best. Brian says, should all work as long as the fans fit inside? Right, no one's asked the question, no one's answered it. So, to be honest with you, I think I'm just going to put a power cable in the back and see if it turns on. There's no reason why it shouldn't post. Everything worked before it went in there, so yeah. Otherwise, I'm going to have to. What if I could get my? I'm not keen on getting my monitor over. How many power sockets have I got left? Right, I've only got one power socket left anyway, so that's going to have to do. Now all I need to do is find a kettle lead. So feel free to talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to get my sweaty ass off that chair. Wow. How long have I been sat down for?
1 hour 28 maybe?
1 hour 28? That's almost not a record, but still. Right.
I'm going to take my chair because it's
Don't make me kneel down because I won't be able to get back up again.
I'll get you my chair.
I'm getting old.
You can have my chair.
Oh, thank you. Right.
If it squeaks, it should wait.
Righty dokie. Oh, I don't like that when it crackles when you stick it on.
I think you're over your wire.
Matthew Day, your calf has to go and get you one. Oh, what happened there?
Don't know. It's just black and I looked.
Oh, black screen. That's not good. Okay.
Have I got to get you one?
No, it's alright, I've got it. Right, it needs to turn that on. Well, the motherboard's lighting up. That's always a good sign. There we go, there's the RGB on the motherboard, which I am going to actually have to turn off because the RGB probably won't match with the rest of the system. Actually, let's put that back there. Okay, all this mess on the desk, I'm going to have some kind of panic attack in a minute. Turn around, bright eyes. There we go. Okay, so shall we do the deed? Right, let's put the fans onto low speed so it doesn't suck my hair through the front grille. Gary's sprinkler repair. Hey, from Northern California. I thought it was Southern California then. Good afternoon, is it, in California? I'm not too sure. Time zones are a weird thing. All I remember is when 9/11 happened, it was just after 1 o'clock here in the UK, I think, because it was on the midday news, and that must have been about 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, US time. Still never forget that day. Alessa's already thinking about buying a new case. Welcome to the new show. Will it post? Oh, sorry, headphone users. That was a pretty quick swap. I was messing around as well, and I couldn't see what I was doing. Fun fact, I worked for a company once which were slightly, how can I put it? Their ethics weren't the best. And literally, we took a PC in part exchange from one customer, went to the local PC world, bought a new case, chucked all the stuff from the old PC into the new case, and drove it to another customer for them to buy as a new PC. which I was very, very, very much against. But I was an employee and I was doing as I was told. And literally, we were in the middle of PC World's car park with screwdrivers and stuff, just transfer a case over, and it was absolutely hammering down with rain. How that PC ever worked, I will never know.
Bit like Fractal Design doing it in that car.
Yeah, it was like Fractal Design. They copied my idea. They did it in the back of a Lambo. I did it in a Corsa.
And they had sunshine.
Yeah. Right, okay, so I'm just gonna press the power button. Let's just see what happens. Fingers crossed. Of course it was gonna work. And that looks pretty dang good. There's a lot of RGB going on there.
Tony wants pictures on Discord tomorrow.
Right, let's go through the RGB because there's some trippy RGB on here. So there's, I think, is that the solid color? Yeah, solid color. So you've got your red, your green, your blue, your, what color is that? Purple? Violet? You've got your aquamarine blue, which actually I do like, especially with these accents down the side. The camera doesn't really do it justice at the moment. That is supposedly a green. It looks a lot darker in real life. Then we've got another, that's supposed to be white, believe it or not.
It's quite blue.
But it's got quite a blue tinge to it, like a lot of RGB does. But actually, if you look at it, it actually does look white, doesn't it? That looks pretty sweet. The Stig approves. So then we got our unicorn puke, which is definitely for anyone who may have suffer from seizures or anything like that, then definitely this is your warning. Do not look.
Does Ross like that? Because he bought the disco ball.
Oh yeah, Russ, do you like this? Because you bought a disco ball, didn't you? I could have put a disco ball in. Oh, the disco ball inside would have been amazing. That would have been amazing. And the magic button on the top, press it again and it turns off. And then you go back into the kind of the RGB sync mode.
The other camera, please.
Which other camera? Which one are we on now? Okay. Camera 2.
Artec wanted to close up your arm.
So the Stig approves. And I don't know if you can tell, but actually that is, I'm trying to work out where the noise is actually coming from. In fact, the loudest thing, yeah, the loudest thing I can pick up on in there is actually the hard drive. The hard drive is the noisiest thing in there by a long way. There is a little bit of a rotational noise coming through the case. Or that might be the other PC behind me. Yes, the other PC behind me. Oh, cameras. So, what do you guys think, and girls? Happy days? I quite like it. I think it's a really nice looking case. Actually, I should have given you a better view of the front.
Stig died.
Oh, Stig. I told you before. Stand up for yourself. The new game show, Will Stig Fool?
Hole in the PC.
Yes, a hole in the wall. Actually, if I put that onto camera number 2, there you can see the front now. It's not stuck on red now, isn't it?
Shaheen just asked if that was Stig.
Yes. Yeah, there we go, there's the rainbow puke. You can actually tell how bright it is because Actually, if you've got any Google devices, I suggest you mute them now. Hey Google, turn off the studio lights.
Alright, turning off 2 lights. I'm afraid there was an error and I'm unable to control your home device.
Yeah, shut up, woman. So there we go. Is it a bit darker? It's like Christmas all over again. Let's turn the fans off. And the noise level hasn't changed at all. So all the noise is coming from the rotational device. I wonder if I'll get a copyright strike for the Stig. Damn you, BBC, damn you. Camera number 1. There we go, look at that. Check it out, yo, as they say.
The front looks like honeycomb intake filters.
Yeah, the filter on the front is actually there's a circular mesh. Behind the circular mesh there's another finer cross mesh, and then behind that you've got the honeycomb design. So, well, actually the fans are off, aren't they? So, are the fans off? I can't even tell. Yes, they are. So, put the fans on. So actually, there is quite a lot of air being pulled through there, so there's going to be quite a good airflow. And if I put on full blast, even with the fans on full, they're not particularly noisy. If I get my mic near, all you can hear really is like the rush of air. You can't really hear the fan as such. And let's get a piece of paper. Thank you. So, piece of paper test. This is always a good one to see what the airflow's like. Just
turn it around because they can't see.
Oh yeah, I'll put the other camera on. So there we go, you can see what the airflow's like. So fans are on, there's a receipt. Actually, has I got my credit card details on? That'd be bad. So even with it just touching the side of it, you can still see. Let's put on to quiet. It's struggling a little bit when it's on the low speed. But the low speed is actually genuinely a very low speed. There's hardly any airflow at all. It's just a very, very, very quiet setting. I really like it. I'm really pleased. I can never tell what camera is on, even though I press the button. Yeah, so you can hear the rotational noise. Actually, hey Google, turn the studio lights on. There, that's better.
Okay, turning 2 lights on. I'm afraid there was an error and I'm unable to control your home device.
Yeah, thanks. So there we go. We're done here. I'll have a look at the comments and see if there's any comments I should have been taking note of. See if I can get my surface ring. And whatever my surface was doing earlier, which it stopped doing, actually I should put the side panel on, shouldn't I? So you can see what it looks like with the side panel on. Let's move that. Look at the state of this desk. Oh my goodness. Okie dokie. Right, side panel. Now the side panel has actually still got the protective coating on one side, I think, or is it both sides? No, just the one side. So I will do the peel for all of you ASMR lovers out there. Now there's one thing I would like to change actually. Where this originally this case I would imagine had a metal traditional side panel, and where that panel was, there's cutouts at the top and at the bottom. So I think what I'll do is later on I'll get some black tape, like electrical tape, and just put a seam of electrical tape behind. So again, that will stop the light coming through and give it a slightly cleaner finish, hopefully. Oh, Stig's dead. Damn you, Stig. Thank you. That's quite funny. Kath's just creeping by because she didn't want to be on the camera. Yeah, we got one screw on. One screw's good. In the unboxing video, when I did the peel for the other part of the glass, I made the mistake of leaving all the screws on, and then it didn't work out. So I did it again with only one screw on, which I should have seen the error in my logic, because obviously one screw in one corner isn't going to hold the glass on at the bottom. So I think actually from the video, I actually took that part of the video out completely, because it just made me look more of a spanner than usual. Anyway. Oh, what's going on there? Oh, I was trying to type something in there. Let me just refresh my the comments. So I've probably missed a lot. Russ B says it looks good. J Nobody, oh my god, is that the Stig? Yeah, that is the actual Stig. We've miniaturized him and put him in a PC because at the moment Top Gear is not on TV, so we're giving him a job. Brightech looks awesome, Mike, great job. Thank you very, very much. Coming from Brightech, I do take that as a compliment. Brightech, I know it's a sad thing, but I am kind of a fan, so it means a lot. Thanks, brother. Aletta says no smoke, that's always a good sign. Exactly, unless you're plugging in a smoke machine, in which case you are expecting smoke. Bear that one in mind. Jane Buddy, front looks like honeycomb filters. Yes, it does. It is. Russ B says, looks good. Aletta says, Tech Deal had his rife. His rife? His rife? No. Tech Deal had his wife Rogue build a PC the other day. When is Kath going to build a PC live on stream? Now, that is a very good question. Now, Kath has actually built PCs for me in the past, and I've actually talked her through it, and she's installed Windows and all that kind of stuff. So there isn't actually any reason why she shouldn't, apart from the fact that she's a little camera shy. But maybe if we get her a little drunk, who knows? It may well happen in the future, but maybe not right away. G Nobody, do you think a car fan was like, I just bought my car a brand new honeycomb filter and now I'll never see it? Boss comes and you're designing our case filters. I think I kind of get what you mean there. Matthew Day says that is a huge heatsink.
No, what is the huge?
Oh, what is the huge heatsink? Sorry, you want to bite this one? Actually, let's take this peel off. I've been saying I'm going to do it. Ta-da! There we go, got to the very end and I didn't even have my tongue poking out because I was concentrating so hard, like us gentlemen generally do. None of that happening here. The huge heatsink. Oh, I don't know whose teeth I got in tonight. I think I got Tech Deals' teeth in tonight. The huge heatsink in there is the Arctic Freezer 33 eSport edition, which I did have a box for somewhere. No, I haven't. Yes, Arctic Freezer 33 eSport Duo or Twin or something. They change their naming thing all the time, but basically that's the eSport edition but with two fans, which hopefully in a couple of days' time I'll be getting the new Freezer 34 eSport Duo, which is their newest release, which hopefully Arctic are sending me. So yeah, that's the one that's in there, Freezer 33 eSport edition. I think the other one was called the Freezer 33-1 or Solo or something. Can't remember. Anyway, that's what it is. It's a really good cooler actually for the price. The only thing I don't like is the mounting clips, which if you got it going in and out, it's rubbish. And George has actually come down to have a look at the PC. What do you reckon, George?
That looks great.
Thank you very much. That is your Christmas present. No, it's not, I'm joking.
Aww.
Would you like that?
Yeah, but
Do you like this case, do you? Honestly.
it looks great. Yeah.
It's got a lot of RGB going on. I nearly pressed the reset button instead of the RGB button. Oh, I just realised my 1070 has actually got lights in it. Never knew that. There we go, let's leave it on that.
That glass looked really dark, but with the lights on, it's not, is it?
Yeah. Oh, damn, I just closed down the chat. Where are we going? Restore chat. Right, I think that's pretty much it. There we go. There is the case built. Time will tell. Hopefully, I think it's going to be cooler than the Fractal Design Define C. That's a long name. Purely because the air intake on the front, at that front panel, although there is a filtered intake on the side, as we've been told on various other kind of tech channels, whenever air has to move at a 90-degree angle, it loses about 30% of its sort of force or pull or whatever you want to do. So because this is direct airflow into the front, straight through the fan, 0 degrees all the way through, and actually there's no curvature whatsoever, so it's literally going straight through the case and out, and anything which escapes that path is going either up through the dual fans there or out through the single fan from the power supply on the bottom, possibly, maybe, a little bit. No, actually it won't, that's sealed off. Ignore that, that's complete BS. But the power supply is running super cool because it's just pulling in nice cool air, and there is a good probably inch, maybe slightly more, maybe about 20 mil gap on the bottom because there's some quite large feet on the front. And there's a big cut out there, so there's plenty of airflow. Removable dust filter on the power supply shroud as well, on the power supply base rather. And you could have got a much bigger power supply in there. There's probably a good another 40, 50 mil. There's nothing really restricting it, so you could probably go even further than that if you went for a mad power supply. But realistically, if you've got a £30 case, you're not going to go balls to the wall with your power supply. There's no point. That's a 750 watt an hour, which is more than adequate for a Ryzen 1700X. A moderate graphics card, the GTX 1070, and a couple of drives. So pretty much that is it. Thank you all so much for joining me on this live case swap. Hopefully it's been marginally entertaining and maybe you've learned something. One of those things probably don't get a mic to build your PC. Possibly many other things. But anyway, I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To. That's been Kath. She's been helpful today, which has been awesome. George has come down and said some nice things, so yeah, we're all good today. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. And now I've got to try and... This is the awkward bit at the end where I always look for the end stream button, and I just can't find it because it's kind of like on that computer there, and I can't see it. Oh my god, I need some monitor mounts over there with monitors on. And where the hell's the mouse? There's the mouse. And that's probably gone to sleep. If you haven't seen the mouse and keyboard, I did a review, so check out the videos, please. And if I sign, there's a stop stream button. So there we go. Good night, everyone, and yeah, we're done.